Hey YouTube, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. So it's Monday. We're approaching November and we're in a government shutdown. Woke up to a brisk 39 degrees here in East Tennessee. The forecast was 46. So we do have sunshine and it's warming up to around 60 degrees today. The stock market's up 400 points right now. And just checked, and silver is up at $51.37, and gold's up $1.53.40 to right now it's $4,366 an ounce. So everything is good, right? If you're saying yes, I'm going to bring you some bad news. Sorry about that, but it all depends how you look at it, where you stand in your life, to the best of your ability, being out of debt, being prepared, having resources put back that you can care for you and your family as we continue to go through these troubled times. What's the troubled times? Well, they may not apply to you, right? Maybe, maybe not. The government has sent letters out informing departments and agencies who have notified individuals who are recipients that the SNAP program will stop making SNAP payments, deposits on 1 November 2025. There's a few states, I believe mostly blue states, who have already started stopping these payments on the 15th of October, Pennsylvania being one of them. So Pennsylvania may be the state to keep your eye on if there is not some form of a government resolution for continuing to operate after 1 November. Why should this concern you? There's currently 42 million citizens in America who receive some form of a SNAP payment. That's roughly 10% of our population. We can dive into the weeds and go down the rabbit holes on who's getting the payments, who's not getting it, how much they're getting. Government programs that says the more kids you have in a house without a father, the more money you can get. It goes on and on and on. But the point here is the payments stop 1 November to 42 million people. And I ask the question, what does this mean for you? If you're prepared, then it doesn't really mean anything, right? Well, when you look at the fact over the past months, and probably a year or more, a lot of your food banks, their available rations have been cut. The funding to get the food has been cut. Donations haven't been coming in at the same level. So the amount of food available to feed those in need, whether it's hot meals or pickup bags, has decreased. And in some areas, the volume that the food programs allow you to bag and distribute to those in need in some states has dropped by 25%, meaning, so what this means is if in the past each person coming through the line could get 50 pounds of bagged food, in some areas it's been cut 35 down to 35 pounds, and as much as down to 25 pounds. Okay, this means less available for those who are trying to stretch this form of subsistence out to the next point that they can get food. Okay, I've heard reports that Dollar General, which is one of the locations that many folks who are having troubled times right now. They shop at Dollar General, and I'm hearing reports that Dollar General is having financial problems, and they're going to have to raise prices again. They just raised prices in many areas, and they're going to be raising prices again by the first of the year. So what was maybe $1 before could be as much as $3 to $4 now. I don't know if you've priced coffee and dairy lately. So I asked the question, is the government using food as a scare tactic to force the Democrats back to negotiations? I don't know. But I've stated before on here on YouTube and also in other HFS platforms that when food is used as a weapon, you have mass control over many of your citizens. Okay, and some of the most violent people that you could ever face are starving people. Okay, I've witnessed it abroad in my former life, and starving people and teenagers and adults who are trying to find food to feed children can become very violent. But one of the things we have to ask ourselves, I've read several comments and watched several videos to the point I don't need to see anymore, but the amount of waste that's in this SNAP program, homes that are getting as much as $3,000 a month uh, to feed a home with 4 and 5 children with 2 adults in the household and neither work. And their comments are, we need this money to feed our kids, and I want to stay home to spend time with my children when there's at least 1 to 2 healthy aged adults who could get a job. So there's conversation of the SNAP cuts. The government is going to revisit, and they're going to force individuals to work at least 20 hours a week minimum, which is not asking a whole lot. When I know an individual very well who is a single 67-year-old female who is 100% disabled, and in order to survive, this individual goes out in the summertime and pushes a lawnmower and uses a weed eater at 67 in the heat, and only qualifies for just under $20 a month for assistance in buying food. And the individual has to go do these odd jobs as they're available just to survive. Okay. And what the qualifications are, I don't know. I just know it's heartbreaking to see individuals, many of them, who can't get help. But yet we have other families with 4 and 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 children, and neither parent works or will put forth the effort to work. Should the government mandate a tighter control over what is available to purchase that's healthier? Because the items that you can purchase under this program and other food programs, that's a form of welfare or assistance, chips, sugar coated cereals, sodas, things that are not healthy. And when you look at the obesity levels of our Americans, especially our children, who can't qualify to even volunteer to go in the military because they're not healthy, does the government have a responsibility for national defense and other programs to curtail and start forcing these families to eat healthy. It's taxing our healthcare system. It's taxing the funds available to pay for healthcare for everyone. It's a vicious cycle, and things are not improving, they're only getting worse. Okay? Should the government consider having victory gardens like they had back during World War II? Okay? Teach people how to grow their own food instead of people being encouraged or discouraged from growing food. So, why? The question is often asked, why are we not growing more food in America? Now, I'm not a farmer, and I'm just sharing with you the things that I've read and I've heard. I was looking at monthly and quarterly import reports, and one of the things that caught my attention was that in the month of January 2025, the United States imported, that is, we brought it into our country, about 193 million pounds of beef from Brazil. Now, we talked about buy local, buy from your farmers, buy direct over the past few years. And so why are we buying our beef and importing it? Well, one side of the story I've read is the government is subsidizing farmers about 2/3 of the cost. They go and they regulate all these requirements onto farmers and cattlers and so on and so forth to where they can't survive. Okay, and then it requires government subsidies in addition to what the farmers can make off of their product. And it's the government saying it's cheaper to go elsewhere out of the country and bring these products into our markets. If these subsidies were to stop, the price of what we pay for items at the supermarket would increase another 2/3. Okay, so that without the subsidies, we see prices going up and things are getting more expensive, almost to the point many families can't buy food. If they take these subsidies away, imagine what the cost would be. It would be unaffordable for many. Another point of why aren't you preparing your household? Okay, and stepping back non-political, to me, I would be asking the government, well, if you're spending so much on these subsidies, why not pull away some of these regulations? Okay, we didn't have all these regulations years ago, back during and after the Depression, and it wasn't until the government started to grow and we started getting into the whole climate change and so on and so forth that they basically started buying up farms and going in and spraying them to where the soil wasn't healthy to grow crops. So for you, if you're prepared, something you got to consider if you're living in a community where you have a lot of families. If you live in an area where you have a lot of homeless and people on the street and households who are dependent upon SNAP and government support, if the payments stop and the government doesn't come back to an agreement on a resolution to continue the government, these folks are going to get hungry and they're going to start looking for ways and places to find food. That could be the impact on you. Okay, so I don't know if the government's going to come to an agreement. Okay, I don't know what goes on behind the walls. A report that I've read is that the leader of the Democratic Party went into the leader Johnson and demanded $1.5 trillion basically in fluff money for the Democratic Party to continue many of these programs of paying individuals who are non-citizens. Okay, it's above my pay grade. It's above my head. I'm just looking at at the ground level how this could impact all of us. All right, but usually a sign when precious metals, the prices are continuing to climb to record highs, that usually means the dollar is getting weaker and weaker. That's why, going by what the market's telling you, you don't know if the plunge team is pushing money into the market at night. You don't know. So the best thing you can do is be prepared and be as self-reliable as you can. Okay, and you look at what's happening, where there's not enough dollars to make ends meet. You look at the strength of the dollar and how weak it is right now. Okay, and it's starting to show cracks. It has been, people have been ignoring it, and it's basically come to a point where around the world now that other governments, it's like right now there is a wheat shortage around the world, but yet the United States is sitting on mounds and mounds of wheat, and other countries are refusing to buy from us. All right, there is a lot of negative comments and negative approach to the United States right now. We can debate over for what reason or what reason not, but it's not going to resolve again the issue. Okay, something you should keep in mind as well. Over the last 12 months, 30% of home sales in the U.S. has been sold to 5 foreign nations. Okay, why are we? They're buying them through private firms. Okay, it may appear to be an American broker coming in to buy up a home or property, but they're buying it for a foreign entity. Okay, and these are foreign governments and foreign citizens. The 5 countries that I heard were China, Mexico, Canada, England. I don't remember the 5th one. And with 30% of home sales going to foreign countries, something else that's close behind home sales is that land our government is allowing land to be sold off to foreign countries as well. Why are we being sold out? It's like there is a push or effort from within to bring America off of that pedestal where for most of my lifetime we were always that nation on the hill with the bright shining light, where the world looked up to us. So there's also reports that healthcare could double or triple in cost by come the first of the year to mid 2026. So will this be realized? I don't know. This is just a kind of a flashing light. Like a few years ago, a year out, we started warning of the escalating food cost. All this information's out there for you, folks. You just got to pay attention and know where to go read it. Okay? So stay alert and prepared. Keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to what's going on in your community, because that's where it's going to happen at. And don't forget to give thanks. And remember that we are blessed people. If you like this video, please hit like, share with others who you care about, and stay tuned to what's coming next. Bravo Echo out.